Hello, happy Tuesday. So I wanted today to discuss booze and midlife. So a lot of the time, in fact, I would say a majority of women I coach in midlife, one of their nemesises, if that's even a word, is alcohol and how much they consume in a week. So if you take a deep breath, because if you don't actually want to hear this, I'm going to give you a little bit of tough love. And if you don't want to hear it, switch off now. But I think it's really important to say and give you kind of like the lowdown on midlife body and alcohol, because as I said, I know a lot of women struggle with it, especially at our time of life. And I think particularly our time of life because we're super stretched. We are, as I bang on about all the time, we are Generation X / Generation Squeeze. So we might have children, jobs, aging parents, everything's going on. We're super stressed, and often we reach for alcohol as our crutch. And we are probably consuming way more than we probably should. So, do any of these sound like you? You're a working mum and you get home every evening and you use alcohol to distress. So you basically have a couple of glasses of wine to wind down. Or you might be someone that's working all day and then goes out socialising in the evening, most evenings. Or you might be a lady that, this happens all the time, and again, I'm going to talk about my experience. You might be a lady out there that eats less during the day so you can drink more. Yes, I was one of those, and there are plenty of you out there, I know. Or you are good all week, but then you absolutely smash it at the weekend, and any body goals that you have achieved, any weight you might have lost, all goes back on at the weekend. So if any of those sound like you, I want you to know that you are not alone. Truly, as I said right at the beginning, a majority of the women in midlife that I coach are on this complete kind of yo-yo with the alcohol. So you're not alone. I absolutely sympathise with this, because I definitely, if anyone's heard my story that I'm sharing a lot at the moment, I definitely used alcohol as a crutch through some really difficult times. I was definitely one of those women that was drinking. I mean, honestly, I could put away a bottle of wine in the evening on my own, and at one stage I was doing that probably about 5 times a week. It was after my divorce and after a really difficult time in my life, and I piled on the pounds. It actually completely destroyed my emotional state. It made everything a hell of a lot worse, because alcohol is a depressant, as we know. So emotionally, my hormones were all over the place, and I was using it as a crutch, which was a completely wrong thing to do because it was making everything worse. So I know what it's like to use alcohol as a crutch when you are stressed. However, I'm going to tell you why this is so bad, actually, particularly at midlife. So alcohol, especially when consumed at night, is a stimulant. You think it's relaxing you, it is not relaxing you on any level. It's basically a stimulant. So what's happening is you're going to sleep with that in your blood system. And what it's doing is it's interrupting your sleep. Even if right at the beginning you fall asleep and you're out for the count, what it's going to be doing is interrupting your sleep. A lack of sleep raises cortisol, the hormone cortisol. What happens when cortisol is raised in your blood system, you actually hold on to more fat. So it's really difficult, because our metabolic rate is lowering anyway as we get older. So is our muscle mass. We're decreasing in muscle mass. Actually, it's so much harder to burn fat. So add to that the cortisol rise, because you're drinking at night, it's interrupting your sleep and it's raising your cortisol. You're basically giving yourself a double whammy of difficulty there. Another thing is it's a toxin. We know it's a nice toxin, but it's a toxin nonetheless. So your body is a wonderful thing. So what it's going to try and do is get rid of that toxin before anything else in your body. That then slows down your digestive system. And guess what happens when we drink alcohol? We get the munchies, particularly carbs. So what your body's going to be doing is it's going to be working through over time, getting that toxin out of your body, and actually your digestive system is coming down, slowing down. So is your metabolic rate anyway, so you're going to store more fat. So basically, we're giving ourselves double whammy with the drinking at night, kind of slowing down our metabolic rate anyway. So that's the bad news, okay? You are not alone. Again, I'll say this, please, I'm not saying this to make you feel crappy about yourself. We've all done it. Some of us are still doing it. But what I want to give you here is just 3 little hints and tips that I've used to help me manage, because I love a glass of wine in the sunshine. I really, really do, and I love sitting there with my girlfriends. It's part of my social life. However, one of the things that totally shifted everything for me was on a Sunday, I would look at my week ahead and I'd be like, okay, my friend's coming then, I'm doing this. When can I not drink, and when am I going to say I am going to drink? So it's about putting yourself in control rather than just the habit, which I'm going to talk about in a minute, rather than just the habit of going for the same thing over and over, just doing it without even thinking, actually even just looking at your week ahead and going, that's when I'm going to drink, that's when I'm going to drink, that's when I'm going to drink. It puts you in control, so you're not just aimlessly, blindly going into the week not knowing. One of the other things I would say is look at the emotion that's going on behind it. That's a really, really hard thing to do, I know. It's going to give you a bit of a reality check. It's tough to look at why you're doing this. Do you need to reach out? I'm not talking about like Alcohol Anonymous. I'm talking about, do you need to reach out to find out why that's a habit for you? Are your stress levels too high? Are there things you could be doing to release some of the stress in your life? Look at the emotion behind it is one of the things that I would say. Keep putting a sticky plaster on it with that glass of wine. And another one I would say is try to replace the habit. So plan, have a look at the emotion behind it, but also try and replace that habit. So become aware of what your behaviours are and try and replace it even just a few nights a week. What I mean by that is, if what you normally do is walk through the door and grab the wine bottle straight away, instead do something else. I know you're going to think I'm crazy, but you could even go and just clean your teeth. Do something. Take yourself out of the normal behaviour. Watch yourself, do it, and take yourself away from that normal habitual behaviour that you always do when you reach for that glass of wine or the beer or something else. So it could be, for example, cleaning your teeth. It could be going outside for a walk. It could be anything. Painting your nails, ladies. Just something to take you away from what you normally do. So I hope that helps. It's a bit of tough love because, I think we need to know why we're scuppering our body goals. I think we need to know as well how it's affecting us emotionally. And looking at, yes, Sally, looking at why we're reaching for the alcohol is really, really important, because we want to live our best lives, and we want to live in our best bodies. And actually, as I said, alcohol is a toxin and we can enjoy it, but in moderation. So that's it. That's all I've got for you on alcohol. Listen, if you are a midlife lady out there looking to shift the needle on your health, your wellness, your nutrition, your training, your happiness, please reach out. I've opened up my calendar this week, 15-minute slots, completely complimentary, to have a chat with me about some of the challenges you might be facing at this time of your life. I would love to help you. Please reach out, and I'm sending you loads of love. What I'll do is I'll put the link to my calendar below, so you can just jump on there or personal message me. I'm always here for you. Sending lots of love.